Okanagan Valley Radio is pleased to present For the Health of It with Tanya Gustafson. Tanya is an internationally certified and licensed nutritionist and fitness coach, helping people to live longer, stronger, healthier lives, naturally. Currently, Tanya is one of the only 5 health professionals in Canada coaching people on how to use blood sugar stabilization to lose weight and achieve and maintain their health goals without dieting. For the Health of It is a weekly podcast where Tanya will be sharing practical health tips and strategies, along with the occasional recipe and guest speakers with information that will ultimately spark healthy changes. Because as Tanya says, if you don't take care of your body, where will you live? And now here's your host, Tanya Gustafson.
Good morning and welcome to For the Health of It. I am Tanya Gustafson, your nutritionist and fitness coach with Fit Nutrition, helping people live longer, stronger, better lives naturally. And today we are going to continue on our series of the 6 components of health. Today we are on number 5, which is exercise. We're going to dive into exercise, the different types of them, why it's important to do it on a regular basis, what type might be the best for you, and how to go about making the most out of your workout. All right, so we're just going to dive right in. Just a little recap from last week. We talked about nutrition. And nutrition came before exercise in the realm here of weight loss and health, because our health and weight loss is made in the kitchen, and our fitness level and supporting that health is made in the gym or wherever you choose to do your exercise. But so we just wanted to back that up with a little bit of recap from last week's show. So I hope you caught that. If you didn't, you can see that in the podcast archives here at OkanaganValleyRadio.com. So exercise, why, right? Some people are like, well, why should I do that? Well, there's many benefits, okay? So we're just going to go through the list of benefits. I know that most people know them, but there may be some here that you don't really know. So why should I exercise? Well, most people exercise because they want to lose weight. Well, yeah, it can support that. It helps that. It can also help you increase your energy, lowers your risk of chronic disease, lowers your chronic pain, actually. There's been some new studies that if people are having chronic pain, we used to say, yeah, stay still, don't do much, but now they're saying, nope, you need to get up and move. And that only makes sense, really, because doing some movements helps your body to produce more synovial fluid in your joints. It's kind of like the lubrication that you need to keep going. So if we're sedentary, we're not... It's kind of like the Tin Man, from The Wizard of Oz, and he gets a little rusty. Same idea. So go by, if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. Okay, that's a great thing to remember with your health and with your fitness level and your exercise. Exercising will help you sleep better. It increases our brain health because when we're exercising, we're doing some more deep breathing, we're getting some more oxygen to the brain, so it can help our memory and focus. It helps get rid of toxins. As we sweat, we talked about that before, as you sweat, the toxins are released from your body, so exercising and we're sweating, right? We also have better skin because, again, we're detoxifying, getting rid of some more of those things in our body. Stress, it helps lower stress, and it really helps with depression. It's one of the natural antidepressants. Buy someone a gym pass. There are some incidences where people do need to have some medication possibly to get started, but putting them on a better health path and finding things that they're not doing in their lives that they could add to their lives that will increase their quality of life and improve their health in some way will actually help to bring that, lower the risk of depression and bring it back down. Increases your testosterone level, so it helps to build muscle. Lowers blood pressure, lowers cholesterol, helps lower your body fat percentage. So most people are used to hearing about the BMI, your body mass index, and that's usually what your doctor will tell you about. Body fat percentage is a much more accurate representation of where you are on the scale and where you should be. So just a little FYI, if you are near a gym or near a health facility, you can go and have them take that for you. There's multiple different ways you can get that done. You can have that done with a caliper test, which is like the little pinchers. You've probably seen that before. You can also have it done with a handheld device. You can buy a scale that will measure your body fat percentage. There's multiple different ways you can have it done. basically says that whatever your percent number comes up, that percentage of your body is fat. So for ladies, we want to be under the 25% mark. Between 20 and 25 is your health range there for percent. Below 20 is great. Keep going, that's fine. Gentlemen, you want to be below the 16, 17 mark, okay? Because we know that living above that for an extended period of time is what puts people at risk for lifestyle diseases. So if you have not had that checked, have that checked. Sometimes the body mass index can give a false reading or a false sense of security, or the other way around. We don't want to have that. But we do know that the percentages are more accurate. So get that checked if you're considering, if you're thinking that you might be at risk. Or even just to find out where you are, because results that are measured can be improved. Simple as that. Exercise increases your bone density. And especially as we get older, we definitely want to do that. It helps with your balance too, because a lot of times you're moving on one leg or the other. And so it just naturally helps to improve your balance, muscle strength, and core strength, and all those kinds of things that we need. So that's a whole big list. And there's even more, I'm sure, that you can come up with as well that have helped you in your life. And so it's just something that we really should be doing on a daily basis. So how much exercise should you be doing? Well, you probably should be getting at least your 10,000 steps a day. And if you do not have a Fitbit, if you have a smartphone, usually there's a health app on there or a health function on there that will record how much you're walking around. So if your phone's in your pocket or carrying it around with you, it will record that for you, so you can take a peek and sort of figure out and gauge where you're at. You could get even the old school little pedometers that you just clip on the waistband of your pants, and it clicks every time you take that step, because it operates that. It's totally old school. You can use those too. And just to give you an idea, so if you're consistently only getting 5,000 steps a day, you want to step that up. If you're consistently getting close to your 10,000, or you're getting over some days and under some days, you're doing a really good job, and that's a great place to be at. Now, for people this brings us to the next point here about your job. So a lot of people will say, I don't exercise after work. I don't have time to go to the gym, or I don't want to do this, or I don't really want to go for a walk after work, or whatever it happens to be, because I'm running around in my job all day. My job is physical. I'm doing a lot of stuff. I'm walking around a lot. And that may be true. And that's a great thing, because the other is not so good, having a sedentary job, where you're just sitting still. Sitting is the hardest position on your back, by the way. So if you are in a sitting job, see if you can alternate with a standing desk if there's an option. If you have a high counter even, you can sort of create your own. Or if your boss will invest in one of those, you can swap off with somebody else during the day, and you actually burn more calories when you're standing up. You are more energetic when you're standing up. Your brain is more focused, and you're able to concentrate better as you're standing. Just that act of standing engages more muscles and makes the body think that, I better be alert because I'm standing. I'm ready to go somewhere. And that's where the brain goes when you stand up. When you sit down, it's like, okay, well, I'm checking out a little bit. And that doesn't mean that you can't re-engage. Obviously, people do it all the time when they're sitting at their desk. But just an FYI, if you stood up, you would find that you are better able to focus and concentrate, and you would be far more productive. So the other thing is, if you have to sit, try alternating it with a ball chair or an actual stability ball. And just for, an hour or so a day, swap that off every couple hours and see if you can sit on that for half an hour. Again, because it's got a little bit, you're not just plopped yourself in a chair having the chair support you. You have to then use all those muscles to engage to support yourself up, because there's no back on that chair, right? So that is the next best thing to standing. And it just engages different core muscles and balance, and again, makes us more alert. So back to my job is very active and I'm walking around a lot, or my job is very physical. I'm doing a lot of stuff. Okay. So if your job is really physical and you're doing a lot of stuff, great. You're doing it on a consistent basis. That's wonderful. You're staying active. You don't have to sit stuck behind a desk. That probably makes you really happy. And also, your body adapts to it. So if you're doing that on a continuous basis all the time, that is your normal place of fitness level for your body. And unless you're challenging yourself, you're not changing yourself. So if we don't challenge our bodies, if we don't challenge ourselves in any way, we're not changing. right? You know, if you're green, you're growing. If you're ripe, you're rotten. So we don't want to think that we have arrived and we have, this is our maximum fitness level. This is what we're going to be doing. That's it. That's all I have to do because this is what I do in my job. Think, how can I challenge myself to then improve that fitness level? You will have a certain level just because of your job. But if you're taking a look and you're thinking, well, you know, I need to lose a few pounds, or, you know, I get home and I'm just wiped, or, you know, and sometimes putting in a little bit extra of exercise will actually make you feel better. That's the last thing your brain is telling you to do when you get home. It's like, you're like, oh, I don't really want to go do this. I don't want it, but just try it a couple times and you will feel better. You get the endorphins flowing, the blood's flowing, you get big breaths of oxygen into your body. A lot of times when we're at work and we're rushed and going from job to job, place to place, even if you're just in your own office there or something and you're up and down, we tend not to breathe very deeply. We breathe very shallow. And so there's a lot of stale air that gets stuck in there, and that's when we get tired sometimes at the end of the day. That, and if you're not balancing your meals, we talked about the PFC every 3 last week. So there's a lot of, you know, there's a few things that come into play there. And so in order to fix that up, get outside, go for another walk, go to the gym, go for a run, go for a bike ride, go for a small hike. And the easiest thing to do is just when you park your car in the driveway, don't go inside yet. Get out of your car, go for a scoot around the block, go knock on the door, grab your neighbor, or drop your stuff at the front door when you go in, grab your spouse and do a walk before dinner, or, you know, or totally plan to do that walk right after dinner, you know, and it's going to make a really, really big difference to add something else in your life, but it's got to be something challenging. So if you think you're already doing enough walking too, then I challenge you to find out what else can you do. So maybe you come home and you're like, nope, I've walked around all day today. I am not going out for a walk. Okay. But have you challenged your muscles? You know, are you doing some push-ups? Are you doing some planking, some things that are challenging your core? How long can you do that? Take a look and see. And start doing that consistently every day and track it and see how that improves. You know, how many squats can you do? Try starting out with 10 or 20 or something. And then add a couple every day. And, you know, just make it, how many things can I pick? 3 or 4 things you want to do in 15 minutes, and then you're done. And that will add another element of challenge to your day without taking a lot of time. It doesn't cost you any money, you know. A few great exercises to try would be some squats, a plank, some push-ups, and some crunches or some reverse crunches. Now, if you're not sure what reverse crunches are, you can Google it, or you can you just sit on the floor, knees bent, feet flat on the floor, hands by your knees, and just kind of slowly lower yourself backwards. If you need assistance, you know, you can put your hands on your legs, and you're going to go backwards till you feel, oh, that starts to feel hard to hold myself up. And then you're going to hold that there, and you're going to feel an earthquake. I call it the earthquake. When you feel that tremble, the earthquake, then you know that your stomach muscles are working and your core is working. So that's just a little couple things that you can do. And, you know, see if you can do that in a little circuit for about 15 minutes. You've challenged yourself. You're going to feel much better, and you're going to have way more energy. You're going to be a lot better company for your spouse when you get home, because you're not just going to be crashed on the couch and sort of in that tune-out zone, because now your brain is reactivated, it's re-energized, it's re-oxygenated, and you're your best you, right? When you do a little bit extra things to help improve your health, you are your best you for yourself, and then you can be your best you for all of those around you. So yeah, we talked about the 10,000 steps a day, and but what else do we need with our exercise? It's got to be fun. Whatever it is that you're going to choose to do. So if you don't have any exercise in your program right now, going out for a walk is a really easy one to do. If you already have some exercise, think about, what else can I try? A lot of the gyms will have a free trial period, you know, or you can drop in and do a class for free in different places. So do that. Try a whole bunch of them. It might take you a month. You're going to get a whole month of free stuff, and you're going to try a whole bunch of different things around the city and see which you like. And when it's fun, you're going to stick to it. So it needs to be fun. You need to do it consistently. So look in your schedule and go, okay, where's that time that I can slot in this exercise? And then slot that in. And then that's your appointment for that. That's a you appointment. It would be the same as going to the doctor or to the dentist or something like that. It's a you appointment. It's necessary. You need to do that. Make this the same priority, and then your health will flourish because of that. Your fitness level is going to skyrocket. It doesn't matter what age you are, you will get improvement. And then again, you want it to be challenging. So start where you're at. So if you had been in great shape years ago, and it's kind of gone a little bit, and you're thinking, oh no, I don't know, I'm not in the same shape I was before. I don't know about starting again. We're not going to worry about where we were or where we would like to be or anything like that. We're going to talk about where we are now and then start from there. Okay, that's your new ground zero, and then you're going to work up from there. So everybody has a place where they've been and where they're at and where they'd like to be. Start where you're at and look towards where you want to be, and you will get there as long as you are consistent.
You're listening to Tanya Gustafson's For the Health of It, exclusively on OkanaganValleyRadio.com. And now let's get back to the show.
Okay, so we've talked about a few strategies you can do at work and the requirements that we need in order to make our exercise successful. So that's being fun, making sure you're consistent, and then challenging yourself, because if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you, right? And we've also gone through a whole big list of why we need to be doing exercise on a daily basis, right? Just an aside here, getting out and exercising is going to definitely help with your weight loss, which is then going to help with reversing lifestyle disease for sure. Putting that together with the nutrition PFC balance we talked about last week, and you have a wonderful recipe for really, really improving your health, regardless of the age that you're at. And just so I can let you know, I had a client I was coaching last year, nice gentleman in his early 70s, and he had really great success just balancing his PFCs. He's a very active guy. He gets out for walks and he runs his own business still. And he was caring for his wife who was ailing and their dog who was very sick, and he was making its own food, and he was responsible for everything around the house. And he still managed to lose 20 pounds, just being consistent, taking the small steps he needed to, incorporating them into his life, slotting them in those appointment spaces, making himself an appointment, making himself a priority, and doing those things on a consistent basis. Was he perfect? No, none of us are perfect. But did he, keep doing it consistently? Yes. Did he have some days where it didn't work? Absolutely. But did he stay consistent with it? Yes. And then he got results. And he's maintaining those results. So it's not just about speed or anything like that, or you're seeing results like tomorrow. Your health is a continuous journey, right? It's like you're in a car and you're going on a very, very long trip. Well, sometimes the road is really clear and there's no accidents or stalls or road construction that you have to deal with. And other times there's quite a few obstacles along the way, right? So we have to take a detour and then we get back on track. And what we do know is that, when we're going out on a trip in our car, if we hit road construction, we don't just go, oh no, it's over, and we turn around and go home. We still want to go on that vacation, so we just find another route. It's the same thing with your health. You've heard me say that your car is your vehicle to get you through life. So picture that as you're going on your trip. Well, your body is your vehicle that's going to take you on your trip of your life. So have the trip of your life. Make sure that you are living the trip of your life. And if you get off track for a little bit with your health, with your fitness, with anything that's important to your quality of life, that's okay. Remember, start where you're at and just direct your vehicle to get back on track. And if it takes a little bit longer than you anticipated, that's okay too. As long as you're continually moving forward, you will get to where you need to be. Just remember, who actually won that race, the tortoise or the hare, right? Just saying. So you can make progress and you can have success from wherever you are now, regardless of the speed that you're going. So just know that you can do it. So what types of exercises are there besides, the walking and the jogging and all that kind of stuff? Well, there's different types of exercise. There's a low intensity, steady state cardio. If you look it up online, you'll see LISS, L-I-S-S. And that is engaging our red fiber muscles. So we have two types of muscles in our body, red fiber and white fiber. So the red fiber is a slow twitch. And that is the muscles that are activated when we do a steady state cardio. So what's steady state cardio? That's like your walking, your jogging, your elliptical, your treadmill, going for a bike ride, things like that. The stuff that you can do where you get your heart rate up and it stays at a certain level, and you can still talk and have a conversation with somebody. Like maybe you're like, and then you say a few words in between, but you're not huffing and puffing and gasping for breath that you can't get the words out, okay? So if someone comes over to talk to you and you can kind of have a conversation, or you're out for a brisk walk and you're having that conversation, or you're out for a jog and you're chatting about a few things, that's your steady state cardio. Your heart rate came up, it's at a certain level, you're maintaining that for the duration, and when you finish, you have a little cool down, it comes back to normal, and you're good. People generally do those kinds of exercises anywhere between, 30, 60, sometimes 90 minutes. If you're hiking, you're going up for a hike in the mountains, and you're just taking it easy, off you go, your heart rate comes up and it stays up, and you keep going, and that might be an all-day hike. Well, that would be a steady state cardio for most of the day, right? And that's okay. So that's where that one comes in. And it's very beneficial. It's good for endurance. Any of our exercises is good for our heart and muscle, good for our lungs. And we tend to call it fat burning cardio because that's sort of where it goes. And it does burn fat. To burn fat more efficiently and more quickly, we have the high intensity cardio workouts. So you'll see that called HIIT or Tabata, things like that. So HIIT is HIIT, high intensity interval training. Or Tabata is another type of that, and they're both where you would go almost at your maximum capacity. Like you pick an exercise, it doesn't even matter what it is. So let's do sprinting, for example. So you're going to sprint as fast as you can for a short period of time, and then you're going to just sort of walk it out. Your heart rate comes back down, and then boom, off you go again, sprinting as hard as you can. So that, and when I'm saying as hard as you can, so when you get to the end, if someone were to try and have a conversation with you, you are gasping. You cannot have a very easy conversation with them. It's hard work until your heart rate comes back down. Tabata is specifically done where it's about 20 seconds full on, full out, only a 10-second rest. So your heart rate will not come all the way back down, and then it's 20 seconds full on again with another 10-second break in there. And even doing a cycle of that for about 10 minutes, you will be just exhausted, and then you can work up from there. The thing is, you burn more fat with these types of exercises. The thing is, if your fitness level isn't at a place where you're ready to start that at this moment, there is the risk for injury because there's a lot of explosive movements, right, to get started and to move really fast. So just thinking about, again, where you're at. Now, you can still add intervals in the middle of your low intensity cardio. So say, you're doing that bike, you're on the bike. And whether you're on the road outside riding, because it's actually still pretty nice here in Kelowna, we can do that. Or if you're in the gym on a spin bike or something like that, you're at the steady pace, you're going, you're doing a good job. And then you decide, no, I need to kick it up a notch. Well, then you can just do a full-on blast for 10, 20, 30 seconds, a minute, whatever it is that you want to do, and then come back down, take a rest. And if you're letting your heart rate come all the way back down, perfect, and then go pull it back up again. And so that would be your high intensity intervals right there. You can add those in to your steady workout. You can just add a couple if you wanted to give it a try and see where you're at with that. And everybody's idea of full on or kick it up a notch is different. And so as long as you've elevated it to more than where you were, that counts as an interval. And then as your fitness level increases, then you can kick that up even a little bit higher, and you'll notice that those intervals you start to do will become easier. Okay? There's also something that I would like to point out, that when you are increasing your activity, your workouts, whether it's weights, and we'll get to those in a minute, or your HIIT training, or your intervals with Tabata, or just even your cardio type workouts, if you're going to increase them, think about the FIT principle. just like my business, Fit, right? So think about the Fit principle. So you're either going to change the frequency, the intensity, or the time that you do it. Okay, so we're not going to change 2 or 3 things all at once when we want to increase our workout and up level it and add a little bit of oomph to our workout. We're going to pick one of those things at a time. So if you're normally walking at flat on the treadmill, here's a little aside here, by the way. When you're on the treadmill, if you were down at 0, that's actually easier than walking on the road. In order to mimic walking outside on the road, you need to at least have your treadmill at 1.5 or 2. Okay, just an FYI. So say you're on the treadmill, say you've been doing it, at 0 or even 1 or whatever. You're walking along, you do your half an hour, you're great. And you walk pretty briskly and you're feeling pretty good about yourself. Now you want to increase that. Well, you could do several things. You could walk faster. You could lift up the treadmill so that you're walking at a more increased angle. Or you could walk longer. Okay, but you're going to pick one of those things and increase it. And then the next time you can pick something else and increase that. So for the next couple workouts or the next week, you might want to just walk longer. And then after that, you might want to lift up the treadmill another couple notches. Maybe you might want to walk at 4 or 5 or something. And then, so you get the idea, right? We're not going to increase everything all at once because sometimes that's really overwhelming and you just feel like you've wiped yourself out the next day. And sometimes that can be very discouraging. If you're far along in your fitness journey, that will not discourage you. And so that's a little bit different story. But for a safety issue too, we always just want to increase one thing at a time. Okay, so then, and that definitely goes with the weights as well. So weights is another type of exercise. And where does that fall? So the HIIT training, the high intensity and the Tabata and all that kind of stuff, those are your white fiber muscles and those are fast twitch. And so, excuse me, we're using those and those provide, big energy bursts and that uses up the sugar in our bodies first. And so then we can dive into chipping away at the fat a little bit more quickly. Same with the weights. Lifting a weight is an exertion of force, right? You have to lift, even if it's a tiny weight, it's something that's not normally there attached to your body. So you're lifting it, even if it's your body weight and you're doing squats or something, you don't normally, stand in your house and do several squats. So it puts a lot of extra stress on your muscles in your legs and making them stronger because you're doing a repetitive exercise using your body weight. You can do a lot of great exercises, a lot of great workouts with your body weight, and I do a lot of those. Actually, you can see on my YouTube channel. I have a Fit Nutrition on YouTube, and there is a section there on workouts. There's a lot of great little short workouts. You can go check it out if you want, and a lot of them you can do at home or at home, in the gym, in a hotel, in a small space. I try to do a few things like that so you can take them with you on the road because even when I'm traveling, I still do my workouts or do something while I'm away. So yes, the weights behaves almost the same as the high intensity type stuff because it requires that burst, that little exertion of force to lift that weight up, right? And when we do that again, then it's burning through the sugars first, and then we can get to the fat much more quickly. So if you are at the gym or wherever you're at, and you're doing your cardio first, and then doing your weights after, you're not getting the maximum benefit that you can. So if you switch that around, and that's not to say that you can't just, go on the treadmill or go on the bike for 5 minutes or whatever to warm up, because, it's good to warm up your muscles, do a little bit of stretching, a little bit of movement there before you want to get into your workout. If you walk over to wherever you do your class, then that's great. You've already done that. But, but for the whole remainder of the workout, if you're doing the weights first and then doing that steady state cardio afterwards, your jog or your walk on the treadmill or your bike or the elliptical machine or just running the track or whatever it happens to be, then you're going to get more benefit out of that because now you've used the weights you've been lifting that heavy weight, burning through the sugars first so that when you get to that steady state cardio, you've already burned through all the sugars, you've already started into the fat, and now it truly is a fat burning exercise. Whereas if you started with just the low intensity exercise, you still have to burn through all the sugars, but because it's not explosive and as demanding, it's a slower process. So you have to do it longer to get the same benefit. Okay, I hope that makes sense to everybody. And so, like I said, so you want to do either a HIIT training or like something with an interval or your Tabata or your weights before you do just that long cardio exercise. And it's not wrong to do just one of those things in a day. Absolutely not. You know, you can alternate them through the week. What I'm saying is that if you're trying to get maximum benefit and you're doing them both anyway, then try doing them in that order instead and see what happens. And it's also good to switch up your workouts every once in a while too, because again, just like if you're at work and doing a lot of activity at work, your body does begin to adapt, and you want to, again, challenge yourself or you're not going to change yourself. So if you want to change and improve your fitness level, improve your weight, improve your definition on your body or anything like that, you need to challenge yourself so you can change. Okay, so looking forward, right now we're heading into this, we're in the middle of this season of food for Christmas coming up. And so thinking about that, thinking about staying active, thinking about balancing your PFCs with all the parties that you're heading out to, and thinking about, if you just want to see where you're at and where you can elevate your fitness level, then I invite you to go to my website, fuelignitethrive.com, and you can book your free assessment with me today, where it doesn't matter where you live. We can do it online or we can do it in person. We can have a little chat and see how we can elevate your health and your fitness level, and maybe make it so that you don't have to make a weight loss resolution in January. And if that's not you, or if January is that time where you're always making that resolution, no fear, we will have groups starting in January. So keep an eye at fuelignitethrive.com. So thanks for listening in today here on OkanaganValleyRadio.com. And get out there, get some exercise today, and we'll talk to you again next week. This is Tanya Gustafson with Fit Nutrition. Thanks for joining.
You've been listening to For the Health of It with your host, Tanya Gustafson. Be sure to join her next week for more great health tips. If you missed any of her shows, you can find them in our podcast archives at OkanaganValleyRadio.com.